Hey, Steve Mignani here with some really good junkyard news. If you're going to be anywhere near Sherman, Texas on March 24th and 25th, know that there's going to be an outdoor auction put on by duncansauctions.com of over 200 solid Texas parts vehicles. There's going to be Fords, GM, Mopar, lots of tractors, and even forklifts. These things all have to go. It's an online auction, but also an on-site auction. If you happen to be in Sherman, Texas, you can go and bid in person or again, online, but all 200 vehicles have to go. Don't let them get crushed. To learn more about this auction, which happens on March 24th and 25th of 2023, check it out on duncansauctions.com. And keep in mind, if you're seeing this after March 24th or 25th, 2003, the auction's over with. But before then, make sure you check it out and save some of these cars. Don't let them go to the crusher. Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the junkyard crawl at Bernardstown Auto Wrecking in Bernardstown, Massachusetts. Want to enunciate that really clearly in case you want to call them and buy something you see. Everything's for sale. I stay out of the middle. But with that said, this is a 1955 Chevy. You knew that. But what does this have to do, or what does it have in common with a Ferrari? We'll get to that in a second. Now, one thing about 55, of course, we all know that this is the year that Chevrolet really got into the 20th century, if you will. First V8, first open drive shaft, first air conditioning, first power steering. Basically, it was a revolution versus the six-cylinder, only 54 back Chevrolets. And in fact, 1.7 million Chevrolets sold in 1955, a 200,000 unit jump over 54, and over half of those cars in 55 were V8 powered. Now, this is not one of them. This one is a six-banger. But getting back to this grille, this is a one-year deal seen on everything from the base 150 to the mid 210 to the Bel Air. It's been known as the egg crate grille. And if you ask certain people, they'll say that it's Ferrari inspired. Let's get to the bottom of that. This is Road and Track magazine right here, December 1959. And in here, they have a nice reflection on a 10-year-old Ferrari. This is the 166 Millimiglia Spider, the Barchetta. But look at that grille. See that egg crate look right there? In fact, if you also know your 57 Chrysler 300C, that grille is very familiar. Now, some would say, yeah, Steve, you're dreaming. Get out of there. There's no way that GM copied a Ferrari. Well, here's the thing. This is Motor Life magazine, December 54, with the first reports on the new cars, including the Chevrolet. In here, December 54, here's their write-up on the 55 Chevy. We see on the left, enthusiasts will be happy with a grille which could have originated in the Italian Ferrari factory. And on the right-hand side top, frontal treatment of the 55 Chevrolet features inward slope Ferrari type grille, hooded headlights. So here it is. Yeah, there's no joke. This is absolutely a Ferrari styling touch baked into every 55 Chevrolet. And the thing of it is, William Mitchell, who was the head of GM styling, was a huge European car fanatic. He loved Ferraris. In fact, he used to go to Europe on vacation, probably owned a Ferrari or two. So this Ferrari-inspired grille was no accident. Now you got to say, that's about the only thing this has in common with a Ferrari. And it is true. This one here is a six-cylinder car. Here it is right here, the 235 cubic inch Blue Flame 6. And when you had a six-cylinder, because the engine was so much longer than a V8, the radiator went outside the radiator wall here. A V8 powered car, the radiator comes inside because the V8's about half a foot shorter. And so that's one of the weird things. But this is a 235 cubic inch engine, no ball of fire. And you got to remember too, the cowl height on the 55 was tall enough to allow an air cleaner that gave no consideration to the height of the hood. But by 1959, the six-cylinder cars had air cleaners that were down by the side. So again, this is kind of the beginning of modern styling for Chevrolet, but also the end of tall cowls. Of course, single master cylinder, as all Chevys would have through 1966. But again, power brakes were an option for the first time in 1955. The V8 again was optional for the first time ever. And these also have ball joint front suspension, getting away from the kingpins of 1954. Now, of course, don't call it a ball joint in Chevyland. That was a Ford term, so Chevrolet called these spherical joints. Same idea. But it gave the car anti-dive characteristics on hard braking. Now, again, this one here is a four-door. And the crazy thing is that in 1955, Two-door Chevrolets, including convertibles, sold a total of 849,000 units, whereas 692,000 were four-doors. So the two-doors actually outsold four-doors like this one here by a wide margin. Now inside this one we can see there's a clutch pedal in this one. This is also an overdrive car. Yep, 1955 first year for overdrive. The crazy thing is that Ford had overdrives in their cars as an option since the late 40s, but Chevrolet didn't get with the overdrive game on manual transmission cars till 55. And that's because the highway system was really gathering speed, and a trip from, say, Connecticut and Hartford to New York City in a non-overdrive equipped Chevy was a loud, thirsty experience. Meanwhile, a Ford with the overdrive in 1949, 50, 51, 2, 3, 4 was a quieter car. So for 55, overdrive was finally made available in Chevy as an option with a 3-speed manual. Now this one here again was a four-door sedan. You can see the full door frames here. Let's see if we can get this door to come out. A little bit. But again, this car, this was a Bel Air. There's the logo right down there, so that would be the top line. The Bel Air four-door sedan right here. 1956 would bring the Bel Air four-door hardtop without the pillar. But again, if you had a four-door Chevy in 55, it always had a pillar. But if you were also a model builder as a kid back in the 60s, this is Revell's 1955 Chevy Gasser kit. This kit initially came out in 1962. The weird thing is, you'd think, why didn't Revell make a 55 Chevy model in 1955? Well, the model kit industry wasn't quite highly evolved in 1955. But by 1962, the 55 Chevy had become such an American icon, Revell says, let's invest the money in the tooling for a car that's 6 years old, 7 years old. We'll sell a bunch. They did. In fact, this kit's still available today, and it's like 50th re-release. What a cool box this is with the little gasser. You get the 409 if you want it, the small block Chevy right there. And speaking of Chevy V8s, let's remember that 55 was not the first Chevrolet V8. In 1918, there was a thing called the Chevy Model D, which had a 288 cubic inch V8 engine. They made about 4,500 of them, not a very popular thing. It was kind of expensive. But with that said, the first Chevy V8, 1918. But again, 1955, this thing right here, just a revolution on wheels. Youth market went from Chevrolet, or from Ford, over to Chevrolet overnight, thanks to this Ferrari grille, the available V8, the overdrive transmission, all those cool upgrades. Young people finally says, hey, Chevys aren't just for secretaries, we'll buy them too. And the mighty Chevy small block V8 dynasty, there's 15 million of the things on the planet, I think by now, started right here in 1955. So if you like the Ferrari Barchetta, you gotta like a 55 Chevy because they share the grille, at least the grille idea. Now, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel. Give it a like, share it with your friends, and be sure to hit the button, ring that bell so that you're aware of the next video, which is tomorrow morning.